All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're out in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Keepin' It Real. Here again with Sean Marsh, Adam Madura. What you guys up to? How y'all doing today?
Just landed today from a week-long vacation, so feeling a little behind and ready to go, though. I'm always ready to go.
Nobody wants to talk about your vacation up in here. Good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Appreciate it.
Let's get back to work. What do you think, Adam? He's muted. I'll start with you then, Sean. What do you think of some of this week's news? There's not as much as normal weeks, but, we've got the Aaron Rodgers Instagram post. We've got free agencies coming up in a couple weeks, but you've got franchise tags are coming out soon. They started doing that today. So we've got some stuff we can cover. If you guys want to kick it off, let's start it off with the Aaron Rodgers Instagram post. For those of you that don't know what Aaron Rodgers said, basically he was thanking his teammates, in particular, some of his offensive linemen and some of his staff, coaches, just the people that he was close to, the entire quarterback room. What did you read out of what he was saying? Did you get any hints or a direction he may be going with his career?
Adam, you want to start?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to retire. I just think he knows his time is up in Green Bay. Do I think he has much long left? No. Maybe a few years. I can see him going to like Denver or somewhere like that. But I don't think Green Bay even has the money to be able to sign him if they wanted to, unless they figured out a way to. I don't think he's leaving, like following Brady at all. I think he's going to be in here for a little bit longer, try to get another ring somewhere, because he's only going to go to a team that can compete.
Mm-hmm.
And only like teams like Denver, I think they're really only just a quarterback away from being able to make it to the Super Bowl. There's a few other teams that could be contentions for him, but Seattle, if they decide to part ways with Russell Wilson, I just think that the whole since last year, I don't think everything's been squashed. Aaron Rodgers is being as professional as he can, but he basically said goodbye to the organization in the Instagram post before he deleted it. He basically said goodbye to Green Bay.
What do you think, Sean?
I actually agree with pretty much everything he just said. I came on here and said a couple weeks ago I don't think he's going to retire. Now, I will say that this post kind of made me lean a little bit more towards the possibility of him retiring, but we've been saying all along on here, I still think Denver's is going to be his final destination. I don't know why. It's like the pieces have fallen into place, and it's just waiting for it all to come down. Like you said, I think he would only go to somewhere he feels like he can compete. But I believe we already pretty much knew that his time in Green Bay was done, and this just further solidifies it with saying goodbye to the quarterbacks and the coaches. And I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, he said he said he would have a decision by free agency, and what's free agency? 2-3 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
Want to leave them? He said he didn't want to leave the Packers stranded, which was pretty thoughtful of him. I'm going to be checking him out each time he's on the Pat McAfee show. I believe he's on there every Tuesday. So each time he's on there, I'm going to be tuning in. Like I've said, I like Aaron Rodgers as a person. I hope he doesn't retire. I think now that Brady's gone, I think he sees maybe a slightly better chance of him being able to grab one more championship before he's on his way out. But he doesn't need to play anymore. He doesn't need to prove anything in my eyes. So I still think, like you said, he goes and plays somewhere else. But that post made me think that maybe he is really considering retiring a little bit more than I thought he was.
Man, I'm going to bring up something we talked about in here about 3 weeks ago. The possibility of the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson trade. It is a very long shot.
Yeah.
If you put it on paper, it makes the most sense for both teams.
Right.
Green Bay tags Devontae Adams in a trade. Seattle would work out a new contract with Aaron Rodgers. That's off their books. Green Bay. When they assume the contract of Russell Wilson, they are not responsible for any signing bonus he was guaranteed. That's Seattle's problem.
Right.
Then the contract would be cheaper for Green Bay. So it makes sense on a lot of levels. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. But man, it would be great to see. I think his best bet is to really feel out the market. There's a team that you're not thinking about, and that's an in-division team like Minnesota. They may not be just a quarterback away, but he would really, really improve that team. And Adam Thielen, he's the most underrated receiver. I mean, he's Cooper Kupp a year from now, you know. I think he's that guy.
I think because there's been talks about Carson Wentz being done in Indy. It's a big possibility. Indianapolis is not for all they had to do was beat Jacksonville, and they were in the playoffs. That's all they had to do. Beat Jacksonville.
That's crazy to think.
And they lost to Jacksonville.
They have some nice young pieces too. They have a decent defense. They have Michael Pittman. They have some receivers. They have tight ends. They have Jonathan Taylor.
The best running back in the game right now.
Yeah.
The team that just keeps popping in my head for whatever reason is the Broncos, and then right after that it's Washington. Those are the first two teams that keep popping into my head. I would think another team, maybe like the Saints, don't obviously have the cap to do anything like that, but I'm trying to think of any other team. Maybe the Colts. The Colts makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I could see Colts, Denver, or Washington because Terry McLaurin's he's a monster. He's a top-tier wide receiver that's getting low stats due to his quarterback. He's had like 6 quarterbacks in 3 years.
Even somebody like Miami could sneak in there. I know they like Tua for whatever. They put a lot of stock into Tua so far. So, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't just come around every year. I mean, he's one of a kind player. So, I don't know. It should be interesting.
I have 2 teams that are not likely, but if you really wanted to go all in, Tennessee is a completely built team. You'd have to do something with Tannehill, but I'd do it for Aaron Rodgers.
For sure.
With that contract?
Huh?
Could they do anything with Tannehill with that contract? Then
that's an awful contract.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I think I'll look it up. You guys talking, but I'm pretty sure they have to eat that contract. But the other team would be San Francisco. They are well built, and if they decide to do something with Garoppolo, I mean, you bring in Rodgers for 1 year. Give that rookie guy that you're probably not going to ever start because I don't think Trey Lance is the answer. Another year, you know, maybe things are looking good for San Fran. They were very close to the Super Bowl this year.
I think Jimmy G is the reason why they didn't get there. Honestly, I don't like Garoppolo at all. I mean, mind you, he has more rings than any other starting quarterback in the league right now, but he's played in 0 of those Super Bowls. Brady's the reason why he has those rings. But he's so lackluster. If Aaron Rodgers went there, they'd probably win it.
Yeah. Isn't he from that area? I know he went to college there. I'm not sure.
Rodgers?
I can't remember if he's from California or not.
Yeah, he went to
Cal, but that would make sense. I mean, Devo, Ayuk, Kittle, a crazy
such an improvement
defense. that they would probably immediately be favorites in the NFC.
Yeah, one of the best defensive lines in all of football.
Yeah,
as long as they're healthy, yes. Because Bosa loves getting hurt.
I hope Jimmy G goes to the Steelers. I really do. That's what I've been hoping for.
They need someone. They need to make a move.
I hope they keep Rudolph, honestly, but that's not going to happen. So,
Rudolph and Haskins are gone.
He's such a bad quarterback.
He is.
What do we think? I know we haven't really talked about this much, but I want to throw this in there. Do we think Deshaun Watson plays this year? And if so, where do you guys think he plays?
No.
I don't think he plays again.
Ever?
No, and it's such a shame because he was a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was one of the best, and he had one of the worst receiving cores out there once Hopkins left.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still a very, very good quarterback. But I don't think he ever sees the NFL field again. Maybe maybe CFL, maybe the new league that's starting up in March, but not NFL.
USFL. Yeah.
He may not ever play in the NFL again.
I
If he does,
I think he does.
I could see Miami.
Yeah,
Miami has had their name in that hat for a long time.
Yep.
I would compare his situation much more closely to Ray Rice's situation than I
Yeah,
would some of these other guys that they've been through things and they're still playing. Because the issue that he has right now, they just came out today and said, that he can be deposed in these 9 cases that are going through. They're going to smear him.
Oh yeah.
And there's no NFL team that's going to want that on their. I mean, what team would he go to? Washington. Washington is being investigated by their owners' actions. They can't take on another lawsuit.
And see, what I think Deshaun Watson messed up because he had offers, but he's rejecting teams because he has that specific. If he don't want to go somewhere, he doesn't have to go. He has that no trade clause to where he has to agree to that team. But I think he was being picky too, as well as the organization. Now the organization is going to have to eat all that money.
Well, I think that's the reason. I think it's more than just him saying no. Some of these teams are probably saying, we'll take you, but we want you to restructure your deal.
Yep.
And you're going to have to go on a prove-it basis, kind of like Vic did when he went back. I mean, you're going to make $2 million a year. And I don't see Watson. If he sits out right now, I think the most he's losing is his signing bonus. I think they have to pay him his regular pay because he's excused. He's on the exempt list. So he would forfeit probably $20 million a year down to $2 million if he gets traded.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I wonder if they can find something in his contract and a clause that says if he gets in trouble that the contract's voided. I'm sure if it ends up going in legal trouble after court and all, it probably will.
Well, I think that's what go ahead, sorry.
I know the depositions have started, and I know that court cases are starting to get more and more, but I also know a few cases were thrown out. But he had 22 cases against him.
Yeah, I know.
That's not like 5 cases. If it was like 3 or 4, it's like, all right, cool. Like someone's lying to get money or something. But these are 22 separate people. It does not look good for him.
And, it's talking about voiding a contract. I think that's what the Saints are going to go for in the Alvin Kamara case. That case is not getting any prettier. And I think their best action is to put him on the commissioner's list and find a way to – I mean, if they void his contract, they're going to save like $25 million this year.
They have to. They don't have any other choice.
They have no choice, yeah.
He could very seriously spend time in jail.
I think he will.
Do you think Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara will play next year?
No.
I think Michael Thomas retired 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's been done.
Yeah.
Like I'm this is why I never buy into that wide receiver one thing. I did not have a high hype on Michael Thomas. So I'm like, all right, that's 1 year out of his how many previous years? So and he just gave up. Yeah. Like he just stopped caring about the team. He was being salty. It's kind of weird. I don't want to think Calvin Ridley's doing the same thing, but it kind of seems like it.
He definitely is.
Because he stepped away from the team. You think that – I mean, mind you, he could have had actual family issues, but he stepped out for the whole season.
And now he's ready to come back and play.
If Ridley stepped away for family reasons, why didn't his brother step away for the same thing?
Exactly.
Well, I thought he said it was mental health.
He didn't really put anything out there. It was a very vague, I'm stepping away right now.
I think he just didn't want to play for that team, and he wants to play for a different team.
Which was blame you?
I mean, if
I don't want to play for Matt Ryan.
No.
If he has family problems, then that's one thing. Or mental health is one thing. But if he just gave up on a team because he didn't want to play there, that's just shitty.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for him.
Yeah,
I think Calvin Ridley's fragile to begin with. He's been hurt a lot in his career. His toe really bugged him last year.
He's a little older too. Didn't he not get drafted until he was 25?
Yeah, I think he's only he's 27 now.
27?
Yeah, I believe so. He's 27 now. I think he's been 3 years in the league. So, I mean, he's definitely talented. He's got the talent there, and it's a shame. It's players like them. Michael Thomas is a very talented player too. They just don't care.
Right.
It's like Josh Gordon. When Josh Gordon played, he was phenomenal, but he couldn't stop smoking weed.
It was unstoppable. I mean, he made
He
the
was.
Brown quarterbacks look like Pro Bowlers.
He looked very close to Ocho Cinco, to
Yeah.
where people could not guard him.
It's just unfortunate because that's probably taking a chance away from another player that was busting their tail to get there, and they never got the chance. And then Josh Gordon gets all these shit. I love Josh Gordon, but he got all them chances and just screwed up Justin Blackmon. I mean, just sucks. But it happens. They're human.
It's life.
Humans do stuff like that.
I mean, hey, he's just like, I smoke weed.
I mean, he like killed anybody. Smoked weed or what?
He's not doing lines of coke off of people, but
right. Like Darren Waller, and now look at him. He was on the Ravens. He was in the Owings Mills parking lot doing coke, literally openly admitting it, and now look at him, probably top 4 tight end in the league.
Yeah,
low on the health chart, but yeah, he's a really good talent.
Yep,
absolutely.
Next topic was going to be: will anybody actually get the franchise tag this week?
Do we have a quick list of any possible contenders?
I know Robinson, Adams.
I think Adams gets tagged. Maybe not this week, but
I don't think they have to find that money.
Yeah, I think they do a bag and trade soon. Of some sorts.
According to NFL.com, the top 10 targets for the tag, of course, Devontae Adams, Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, Harold Landry from Tennessee, J.C. Jackson from New England, Mike Williams. Yeah, Mike Williams from the Chargers, Orlando Brown from the Chiefs.
He's gone.
Carlton Davis from the Buccaneers. Dalton Schultz. I highly doubt he gets tagged.
He's going to be
the Cowboys.
Nah, he's gone.
You think so?
Mark Williams from
I think they're going to sign him.
Who was the other guy?
I don't think Schultz gets tagged. I think he gets signed.
Me too. Same with Jesse Bates.
Yeah, and same with J.C. Jackson.
I don't see anybody getting it this week.
No. It's gonna be a little bit. I think a little bit after free agency starts.
If there is a guy that gets it, I think it's Mike Williams, because I feel like because he had such a great year for the Chargers, he's going to ask for that Michael Thomas deal, and I don't think he's there yet.
I don't know if he'll be back there. I don't know, because he's been talking about getting traded since the beginning of last offseason, and then all the way up to the trade deadline, they were talking about possibly trading him, and they have what's his name, Jalen Guyton, and they have another young guy, Josh Palmer, I think, and obviously Keepin. So
I mean, Mike Williams,
but I think he might be going somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him in a Broncos uniform, but they don't need wide receivers; they need a quarterback. I mean, they could get rid of Sutton and get Mike Williams. That'd be great. But
Sutton's been a bit of a bust, in my opinion.
Who, Sutton?
Yeah, like one good year.
He can't stay healthy.
Downhill.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy. Ever since that whole team has injury issues. Like they could potentially tag Melvin Gordon too this year, because he would be pretty cheap to tag.
I think he's definitely gone.
I think the only reason why they would tag him would be to give Javonte one more year but he doesn't need another year. Javonte's a monster.
Running backs don't have a very long shelf life in the NFL. You got to be able to. He's a workhorse. That man's a monster. You got to.
Yeah, I love Javonte.
You can, and I think last year they were kind of stuck because they were. I mean, you would know more than me, but they were paying Melvin Gordon like a decent amount of money, but then Javonte Williams was doing so well when he was in the game. Like you're just in a tough position. And I think Javonte Williams got to be the workhorse there.
Javonte's he's such a beast.
Yeah,
I wouldn't tag Gordon. It's 12.5
I wouldn't either.
Tag him.
12.5 million?
Yeah.
No way. He can go somewhere and be a serviceable, probably backup or maybe even a starter from injuries. But he don't need to be there.
Gordon's a solid running back too.
Yeah,
he's probably the best backup running back in the league.
If they really do transition, and talking to Jacksonville for a second, not that anyone cares because Jacksonville sucks, but my team. If the Jags convert Travis Etienne to a full-time receiver, I could see Melvin Gordon coming in and being that two-back behind him.
What about James Robinson?
Robinson, yeah.
James Robinson is a clear running back. But Etienne he's been playing wide receiver. He's a hybrid. And Etienne is like a Debo, but not as big.
Let me ask you this: were you happy when they drafted ETN? Because I was so
No.
shocked because James Robinson was just coming off of like 1,400 yards or
He was
whatever.
the fourth best running back in the league.
I was like,
Even worse
other
is
player.
it wasn't a need. It wasn't a need at
No.
all.
Wide
No.
receiver was a huge need, so was offensive
Or-
line.
Defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Alabama's, I can't remember his name, their top defensive tackle sitting there could have been picked and could have improved our defensive line immediately. We pass O-line, D-line, linebacker. I mean, Miles Jack is the only linebacker anyone knows for a reason. Take somebody with best available and need. They missed both of those by taking ETN. That's
Yeah, I
overrated.
didn't understand that at all. Like, if you
Unless
were
they
going to go
do.
for a running back, why wouldn't you have drafted Najee Harris the pick before?
Yeah.
Unless they do try to convert him to a wide receiver, or at least something like a Christian McCaffrey is, or something along those lines.
I still wouldn't have taken him there.
No, I wouldn't
No.
have either. But I was just
Like, it doesn't make
like-
sense.
Yeah.
Like, Trevor Lawrence is clearly their
Yep.
quarterback there, which is fine. Trevor Lawrence is a very
Instead of
talented.
lineman.
Yeah, they need linemen. They need wide receivers.
Line. Yeah.
They need both lines, and they need
Tight
quarterbacks
end.
that can actually cover people.
They need everything. That's the
Yeah.
thing. They're probably like, well, we're going to take a young player that's good and let him build with
Yeah.
Trevor
The problem
Lawrence.
with that is
We're not gonna
you're
win
going to
now.
have James Robinson, who's a top tier running back, and he's going to be wasted on that team because he's not going to have a team to work with him.
Well, they could trade him.
They could. I
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
wouldn't keep
like
him. I think Doug
Robinson.
Peterson's going to use him pretty well. But I guess,
The biggest outcome for Jacksonville next year is 6 wins. I don't see them, getting more than that. I think that's a huge step up.
yeah.
Take that Colt win away at the end of the season. That was the Colts losing more than it was Jacksonville winning.
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know what was going through anybody's mind, but
Carson Wentz is not good. That's what's going on.
I don't think anybody signs him to a starting quarterback role
He'll
in the next
revert to a backup.
2 years. Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
I mean, Denver
Is he
could
still
bring him
under
in, but that's a waste. He's a waste. It was a 1 year.
He was
Yeah.
1 year. I thought.
Yeah, he was a 1 year sign because Frank Reich wanted him in, and now they're like, ugh. Frank Reich is kind of in the hot seat now because he vouched for him.
Absolutely.
Carson,
He should be.
Carson Wentz he's like, oh, I want this guy, I want Carson. They gave a first round pick for a quarterback who's nowhere near. He's a starter for sure. Like, if you think of 32 teams, he can start on one of those 32 teams.
He would be decent on the Steelers because they have good running game. Well, they have a good running back, not a good
They
running
have-
game. They have
yeah.
tons of receivers and a young
Yeah.
tight end.
Well, here's the thing with Pittsburgh. They're not just losing Ben. They're losing 2 probably Hall of Fame offensive linemen.
Yep.
Juju Schuster may not be back.
I don't think
No.
he is.
I mean, that's going to be a vastly different team, and they were not good last year. They made the
No.
playoffs because of one game where a tie would have left them out. And
Which I thought they were going to tie to leave Pittsburgh out. I really did.
I think that was probably on their mind. But I think some plays there at the end where they tried to steal the win
Mhm.
made the other team say, "Oh, I'm in. Kick the field goal. Let's go."
I wish the Chargers
I-
would have made it. I hate the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm not a Raiders fan.
I like Pittsburgh. I think they have really good talent. I think Claypool's underused.
Yeah. I
Chase
agree.
Claypool's very talented. He's a very
Yeah,
good wide
I agree.
receiver. He jumps up for the ball. Like, he does not lose jump balls much.
He just does stupid stuff.
He's stupid. Yeah. And that's something Mike Tomlin can easily get him in check on.
Well, he should have.
Mike
Juju's
Tomlin's
doing the
not.
same
So I
thing.
think Juju, he's like Patrick Mahomes' brother over here. Can't deal with either one of them.
All right, so Mitch Trubisky is
Mhm.
probably, I mean, it's not a very good class, but he's probably the top rated quarterback in free agency right now,
Mm-hmm.
unless Aaron Rodgers hits free agency. So
Imagine
Yeah.
that.
you guys see him landing a starting role somewhere? And if so, where?
I'm going to be honest. I think, real quick, the Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley, he is a free agent. I would honestly rather have him. Now, I've seen him play more than most people, but he could be a free agent depending what the Ravens do. But Yeah. Where do you think Mitch could go where he would be decent? Like the 49ers, maybe?
No,
Nowhere?
but I don't even
Starting,
think I don't even think Mitch Trubisky's better than Nick Foles. Nick Foles isn't a starter.
Like I
And that
said, I keep going back to the Steelers. I could see him on the Steelers, maybe.
I'd rather have Tua as my quarterback.
Really?
And I don't like Tua. I think Tua is a very bad quarterback. I really do.
very overrated.
Yeah,
He
and
went
the
to North
reason why
Carolina,
he
right?
was, huh?
Mitch Trubisky did he go to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another North Carolina quarterback coming out. Would you rather have him or Mitch Trubisky?
Him.
Trubisky.
Sam Howell,
Trubisky.
Baker Mayfield 2.0.
Sam Howell can read a defense like a blind man reads the paper.
That was not this quarterback class is very bad.
It's awful.
This
I think
class
that-
in general is bad. Like
I
wide
think-
receivers are stacked.
This is probably the worst top to bottom quarterback class we have seen in 20 years.
So what do you think that your team's going to do then in the draft?
Jacksonville?
Me? Oh.
Yeah, do you think they're going to go wide receiver, or you think they're going to try to beat the O line? Because this is a very good wide receiver class.
You
If-
take Olave.
If there was a number one quarterback in this draft, I would 100% tell you they're trading down to about 4 or 5 to a team that needs a quarterback. You're still going to get your O line or whatever you
Oh,
want
yeah.
there plus picks, but
Olave or
there's
James Wood.
no market. There's only really 2 players that say I would think they're really worth an overall, and they're both D linemen. So this is not a trade market for the top end. I think they take Evan Neal and address the offensive line. I mean, if you skip him now, it's impossible that he's there on day 2.
They probably
Oh,
should.
yeah.
Impossible. And he's the
There's
guy
too
that
many
we want.
there's too many teams that have holes on the offensive line or on the lines that you need him.
Every team can use upgrade online, no matter how good their line
Yep.
is. Every team could always use an upgrade online because there's 5 different positions on the
Positions.
offensive line, and
Yep.
a lot of these guys now, these younger guys especially, can rotate around right tackle, left tackle, pulling. I mean,
And that's Evan Neal. He
Right.
played
Yep.
everywhere but center at Alabama.
right?
Evan Neal's very good.
Yeah,
He's very good.
I think Jacksonville would be crazy not to take him, depending on. And now, if somebody goes crazy in the combine and they really, really see something they fall in love with, then
Yeah.
Which
Wide
could be
receiver.
on Thibodeau.
It could be
might
Thibodeau.
blow up.
right.
He might be
that-
unpassable.
Them passing up on Neal would be like how I saw Cincinnati passing up on Sewell. Like they needed Sewell more than they needed Chase, but Chase made more sense for a future, I guess. So to me, it didn't make much sense to go with Chase, but I get it.
Mhm.
If I was them, I would have went Sewell. So if I'm Jacksonville, you got to go with Neal.
Okay, so let me ask you both this then. Since we're talking about team building. Let's say you get this job. You're the GM of whoever, the Jets. We'll go with the Jets.
Mhm.
Worst team roster-wise, I think there is. Do you take your quarterback now with the crappy offensive line and receiver core that you might have? Or do you take receivers, you take offensive line, then you bring in your quarterback to a stable environment where he can actually excel? He has time to throw. He has people to throw to. Which one are you looking as a priority?
I guess if there was really, really, I thought a great quarterback, like a revolutionary milestone quarterback, that's what I would take. But otherwise, I would go the other route because a lot of these times, these rookie quarterbacks that are coming in and they have nothing around them, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, any of these guys, 9 times out of 10, they're going to fail until they get them pieces around them. So unless it's like, I think it's like a Peyton Manning or something crazy early, then I would have to take probably receivers and line. I think that's what I would do. That's what I do.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Honestly, it's like, especially if I'm the Jets owner in this class, or any team that really needs quite a bit of rebuilding, Lions included, I think I'm gonna go with a wide receiver or a lineman, because if you bring in a Peyton Manning, like okay, you'll have the Peyton Manning, but you don't have anyone else around you.
Yeah.
Like Jets, don't get me wrong, they have Michael Carter's a very good running back. I like him as a running back; he's very good. But who's their wide receiver one? Corey Davis or Braxton Berrios?
I think
Neither
it's
one of them are.
They did
Yeah, it's
try.
Davis. They tried. Yeah.
They got Elijah Moore and they got Denzel Mims. They tried to give him
Yeah.
some wide receivers. They just haven't panned out.
Yeah, and I know Corey Davis, he's never healthy. And that's always been his thing. Like, if he was healthy, he's for sure a very talented wide receiver.
Yeah.
But they traded for him, and they didn't really give much for him. But then they traded for him. They picked him up. And they didn't pay him much, but they have nobody. I mean, Mims, yeah, and Elijah Moore, they're both very talented. Moore is a spread the field kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Mims is more of a possession. But Mims doesn't fit in that play style for that coaching. And they even said it, like, he just does not fit.
So, like, if you took a Zach Wilson and you put him on a roster with great weapons around him, like the Cowboys, he's probably a pretty good quarterback, right?
Yeah. If you put him in San Fran, he's probably very good.
San Fran, I mean, even the Steelers, if you put him somewhere like that, he's probably about an average quarterback, if not a little better than average.
Yeah.
So,
He's definitely better than Baker.
Yeah.
I think you have to but I think you have to get probably the cornerstone left tackle if it's a right-handed quarterback, obviously, which most of the time it is. You have to protect the blind side and get a left tackle. Now, a lot of times these left tackles going early are pretty good players. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly. I mean, I've done this in Madden. You know, it's how I build my team. I never start with a quarterback, 0 times. And the reason is you can have Trevor Lawrence in the situation he's in now. Great future. We may never see Trevor Lawrence be anything.
No.
He doesn't have an offensive line. He can't get comfortable. He doesn't have a receiver that's a go-to guy. They thought that was going to be DJ Chark. It's not Chark.
It's not. It's not
So
either.
I'm absolutely investing in everything but a quarterback because if I can't draft the guy I want, somebody's going to say, hey, I want to be traded. I'm an all-star. You know, I'm a perennial Pro Bowler. I want to go somewhere. And I see Jacksonville, and I see the GM wanted to invest in the quarterback in the end, not in the beginning. That's where I want to go. And then you've got your first-round picks you can give up. I mean, right now, if you did that for 4 years, Aaron Rodgers could be on the market as soon as next week. Russell Wilson could be on the market as early as next week. There's your two quarterbacks that you didn't draft. But if you're looking for a ring, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And then you go back and get your quarterback later.
I will say in the Jaguars' defense, Trevor Lawrence was being talked about as the next Peyton Manning, like the next guy that was going to come out. And I think every team that needed a quarterback would have took Trevor Lawrence because he was supposed to be that guy.
And there's
once in a lifetime quarterback.
There's no saying he's not going to.
There's no
Peyton Manning,
right.
Peyton Manning's rookie year was absolutely horrendous.
Horrible.
You won't find, like, aside from Jameis Winston throwing those he threw 31. Like, Peyton Manning threw over 30 interceptions and under 20 touchdowns.
No.
It was bad. I think it was 11 touchdowns and 31 interceptions. It was a very bad season, but he's probably top. He's one of the top quarterbacks of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
And every team thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be the next big quarterback. Like, he was the most talked about and highly touted quarterback. So I don't blame the Jaguars for taking him.
I don't know.
Because he was supposed to be the one time that you do take a quarterback instead of taking all these other positions.
Yeah.
And he still could be that.
Yeah.
I hope he is, honestly. I like
So do I. My fantasy says I hope he is.
All right, so I think we've covered most of what there is for football. Let's transition to college basketball for just a minute. I don't really watch a whole lot of college basketball. I don't know if you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen the footage several times. Juwan Howard going after, throwing two punches. I don't know if any of them really landed, but the attempt was there. And then the brawl, there's two players suspended for one game from Michigan. One player from Wisconsin that suspended a game. Juwan Howard suspended the rest of the season. If you've watched this, if you're in the NCAA office, you're in compliance. Are you accepting Michigan's rest of the season suspension as being enough said?
He needs to go.
I don't know what else they can really do. I mean, they can suspend him for the season, and he got fined. But I think he may have been getting possibly fired either way, even before this.
Yeah. The team's on a downhill. He needs to go.
when they played Maryland, I think it was last year. Him and Turgeon got into a little heated altercation. This isn't the first time it's happened, and it sucks because like yeah, you're a grown man, and what the guy did apparently was call a timeout for no reason because he actually got fined. The Wisconsin coach got fined for calling a timeout for unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's what he was pissed off about. But you're teaching these college kids, like your job is to teach them how to be men because 90% of these guys aren't making it to the NBA. They're still kids. And you're teaching them how to be men and how to lead by example. And you cause the brawl with your team, put your team in danger.
Yep.
I mean, I'm usually like more against that. Like I think sports should be not more violent, but it shouldn't be as soft. But yeah, that was
for sure.
That was just not a good situation at all. There's nothing good coming of that.
Even if I'm a player and I see that they're not firing the coach after that, I don't know if I want to play for that team anymore.
Yeah,
like that's just I'm raised like just. I think it should be a little bit more tougher. I think they're a little soft on these players, but that is absolutely out of line.
I think it just puts it puts the players in a really, really bad position because I mean, obviously they want to help their coach. I mean, they practice with these guys. They put in a lot of time with these, more than their own family. They are their family while they're in college, and you can help the coach who is in the middle of a brawl, which he shouldn't be in, and get suspended, and then maybe miss a chance of getting scouted or going to a different college or going to the NBA even, God forbid that happened. But yeah, it's just a really, really bad thing that happened. And whatever happens to him, if he gets fired or whatever, I would say that, I mean, it's not too harsh for that to happen.
Nope. I had a very in-depth Facebook conversation with somebody about this incident, and basically, their point of view was, oh no, the rest of the season was the right thing to do because there wasn't this huge brawl that could have been. And my argument opposite of that was, if you're only going to, punish on what didn't happen and not what could have, there's several incidents in time that you can go back and say should have been fired. Because this almost was a big time brawl. There were thrown punches everywhere. Players, and the person that you as a player look to for not only confidence, but leadership, for decision making, is the one throwing the first punch.
Yeah.
And you're in a position where you're supposed to be the example. The example's out there punching another coach. So automatically, in my opinion, fired. Should have been fired before he got home. But it's not my decision. I'm just saying that's what I would have done.
Now, if it would have happened like the second game of the season, and he would have got suspended like 20-something games or whatever, 30 games, how many games are in the season, I think it would have looked a little bit better for Michigan. But the fact that he got suspended for the rest of the season, there's only 5 games. It's just,
well, then make it for a season.
Yeah, make it until
into next year.
Yeah, like 50 games or something.
Yeah,
30 even.
Harsh, not 5 games.
Yeah, 5 games probably isn't enough.
I think honestly, if I'm in charge of that, he's done as soon as that happens.
Should be suspended for duration of tourneys.
He is. He's out for the tournament.
Yeah,
he won't be able to do the tournament if they make the tournament. I don't know.
They're going to make the tournament. I think that's what they said, the 5 games.
14 and 11. So I think they're one of the.
I'm going
to say they're the 7th or 8th team out right now.
I don't think they're going to be able to win it either. So.
But no, you're right. If they were in the tournament, he should be suspended for that. He should.
If they do end up making the tournament, is he suspended for that, or is it only the 5 games? Or is
it's the rest of the season.
Well.
Yeah,
I couldn't see anywhere in the NCAA where they would allow him to play after that for this year.
If it was the pros, it'd probably be a little bit of a different story. It still wouldn't be okay, but you're literally leading like 17, 18-year-old kids still.
Yeah.
That aren't getting paid.
Kids just out of high school who are trying to learn how to get by in the real world, who may have came from bad areas.
Yeah.
I could argue the NBA too, because I've seen the NBA brush a lot of things under the rug.
Yeah.
Like Donald Sterling got away with racial murder for 8 years before they made him sell his team. It was 8 or 10 years he'd been, and it's not like it wasn't reported. Apparently, people were reporting what he was saying. It just took the right person to file a complaint for it
Right.
to get to that point, and that's unacceptable to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's technically 5 because the season's only 5 games left, but yeah, basically just the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Like Sean was saying, those 2 games into the year, the season would have been 30 something games. But anyway, I think we did good on that topic. I feel strongly he should have been fired.
Yeah.
You can make a case for both ways,
He
and
still may be fired.
I think he gets fired for the season. The trajectory of their team has gone down.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think. He might have been on his way out anyway. Now they can really just say we can't have
All
that.
right.
You underachieved. I mean, you're gone.
Right.
Yep.
Somebody's going to coach that team, and it's Michigan. They're going to get a good coach no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And talking college basketball, I'm really sad to see Coach K hang it up. It's
Yeah,
it's going to build
I'm
up all
happy.
year.
I'm happy.
He needs to though.
Yeah,
Roy Williams is gone. Coach K is obviously gone.
When I did follow college basketball like really close, I was always a North Carolina fan. I hated to see him demolish North Carolina for years, but I mean, it just shows the type of coach that he is. He's
Good coach.
ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Did you guys touch on Watson? Yes, we did touch on that. 9 cases, I don't think is enough. Maybe we get more out of that, but 9 cases, like we said, they're going to smear him. So
yeah, I think 9's enough to ruin his. I mean, let's be honest. What team really wants him now to begin with? I mean, he's right now. He's just a basket case. He's like Antonio Brown at that point, where it's like, do you really want to risk that huge contract that he's going to want? Because he's worth the contract, but is he worth it in his own personal life?
The locker room.
And I had a very long conversation with someone on Facebook about this before, to where they were saying that NFL shouldn't be getting involved in off the field activities. It should only be strictly what's on the field and in the locker room. I said that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Sure, they should. They have to protect their image too.
Yeah,
and they're like,
corporate sponsor.
And they were like, "Well, Ray Lewis killed somebody." I was like, "Yeah, well, he was found innocent.
He just didn't snitch.
I mean, he just didn't snitch." But it's like people get away with things. Like, okay, yeah, lawyers happen. Like they went to court for these things.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be if they don't handle it, the NFL is an absolute joke. That's what it comes down to. That's the third time on suspension, knowing how you risk. No, absolutely. I wouldn't do that either. There's no way I'm risking the first round.
Andrew's a Giants fan, so.
Oh well, that's why. I mean,
I'm gonna pray for you tonight, buddy. Pray for me. I'm a Jaguars fan. Anyway, we have anything else to cover? You guys miss anything?
I think that's.
Did you guys want to talk about the race from over the weekend?
Oh yeah. Daytona 500.
The rookie.
The Rook.
The Rook winning it.
Getting the win. There was actually quite a bit of controversy in that one race, and it's not like bad controversy, but it ended up being huge discussions. I mean, Twitter, Facebook kind of exploded. There was one driver, Brad Keselowski, during the race. 2 incidents where he bumped too hard, but I mean, I can make a case for both incidents as being just racing.
Is he known as like a dirty driver or anything?
No,
or is he not? Okay.
No, not. I mean, he's very forthcoming in what he does. If he messes up, he's going to tell you that's on me. That's not what he said. He said, he was bumping, trying to get them to the front, trying to help, and it happened. I will say one of the guys he bumped was a rookie as well. I don't know that I would have bumped a rookie at all. They're not used to that type of situation where, when you got somebody bumping you like that, the back end of your car is light as a feather.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. So it's a rough
That's
situation.
what took Earnhardt out.
Yep.
And Earnhardt was a seasoned vet at that time, and he knew how to handle it.
Yeah.
So with the rookie winning, what's his name? Sorry, I forgot his
Austin
name.
Cindric.
With him winning, so this was like unexpected. Like he wasn't any type of favorite, or nobody expected him to win. I'm assuming.
He wasn't in the poll, was he?
No, he wasn't like a long shot. He was probably 16th or 17th favorited, just because the team he runs on is Penske, and they're always great at plate tracks. Let's see. I agree, aggressive. It was definitely aggressive bumping, but yeah, I don't think he did anything malicious.
No.
But and to touch on that, you look at the style of racing that Brad comes from. I mean, when they allowed bump drafting before, you had to stick the nose out to get air on the nose so you didn't blow the motor. I feel like the basic thing he was doing was sticking the nose out far enough to get air and not detaching from the car. They go a lot faster when they're bump drafting like that. So
Yep.
I mean, Brad was used to racing that way. And then the second wreck was like 6 laps, 8 laps to go. I'm not backing off with 8 to go either. My
No,
foot is
there's
not
no way.
touching the gas. I mean,
Like,
say it how you
it-
want it, but I'm wrecking somebody for Daytona 500.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean, it's their
big
job,
race.
right? I mean, I guess as
Yeah.
long, just to be safe. But I mean, at the end of the day, their job is to win.
They have.
I don't think
obligation.
I don't think he was being malicious at all either.
No.
Like, people are being a little overcritical on it. Kozlowski, I haven't followed much on racing, but every time I've seen him race, it's been clean.
Yeah.
He's not malicious. He's not going after people. He's not looking to hurt rookies. It just so happened to happen twice at 500.
Now, if
And-
you go after him, he's going to get you, and I like that.
Oh
about
yeah, yeah. He's cutthroat at that point, but he's not maliciously looking. Like, he's not headhunting people.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he would.
Right.
He would have done it more than just once.
I think we have covered just about everything. There's a little less to talk about with football being over. It was the All-Star break this weekend. NBA.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
Awful
NBA.
dunk contest.
Did you guys watch it?
Nope.
The dunk contest was so bad.
The actual All-Star game wasn't bad, but it was just kind of almost like a little better than the NFL one. They played zero defense, but they don't want anybody to get hurt because theirs is in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
NFL's is at the end of the season.
yeah.
Well, they need to
and
bring
no
back
one.
the skills challenge for the Pro Bowl.
For
Yeah.
NFL, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
Man.
I liked watching it.
What do you got? I thought didn't we want to talk about baseball real quick?
Possible
yeah.
postponing the season.
Yeah, I think what we were going to ask was, will the season start on time?
No.
I see
I
no
don't
way.
think so.
Not if they're 15
No,
minutes into every talk and they're done and they're like, we got nowhere.
Yeah, it said apparently I believe it said the MLB changed a little bit of their input, but it was nowhere near still anything close to what. Like, what's the big discrepancies? I'm not even 100% sure at this point.
I think the biggest thing is minor league pay. So the Major League Baseball implemented 40 years ago that you need a minor league system, and the pay has been getting a little more ridiculous every year. You got minor leaguers now that can make almost $500,000 with no proven. I mean, coming out of high school. So I think the biggest thing is the Players Association is fine with that. The owners are not, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was, I know, one big point. I don't know if they've made any ground there. Other than that, I don't think they've really discussed openly, publicly, the biggest things that that ends with.
No.
I think a lockout is coming. Absolutely.
It seems this happens a lot with the MLB. So
It just kills that sport because they already have a tough enough time getting people to watch that they had to cut the games back and they had to take away time in between pitches. They have a rough time competing with these other sports, and a lockout's just going to kill them again and again and again. It happens every time.
It's not a fun sport to watch.
No, it's awful. I'm sorry, it's awful.
Like, I would rather watch NASCAR than MLB. It's not fun to watch. It's really not.
I would rather watch cricket on TV.
Cricket, yeah, that's entertaining though.
I can't do baseball. They don't even. There's nothing energetic. It's like, oh, I struck him out. I'm gonna lift it down.
Yeah, I mean,
is the season too long?
Yes.
To care all year. I believe the season is way too long. 182
Absolutely.
games, it is, right?
They're playing 4 or 5 games a week, traveling in between. It's too much.
April to October, they play like 7-8 months out of a year.
Yeah.
Well, I think the same thing with basketball too. I think it's too long.
You think?
Why do you think?
Right?
Why do you think LeBron James and Joel Embiid are taking rest days?
Well, why do you need 82 games? Same thing with baseball. 82 games with basketball to decide if you can make the playoffs. Why would you need 162 games?
Yeah, you don't.
By the time you reach 95 games, and that's still a lot. I think
That's
if they're a
lot.
good team.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with them cutting the season down to like 100 and basketball to
absolutely.
50. Yeah, like 50.
I agree with Andrew.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think it's too long. I mean, baseball does not really. There's no contact really, aside from sliding. So it's not really as physical as basketball either. So cutting it down to 100 games would be perfectly fine. You don't need to have 5 games, 6 games a week, double headers in 120-degree weather. That's unnecessary.
I almost wish they would reformat the playoffs in almost every sport, honestly.
Yeah.
I wish they would reformat it in football. I'm tired of playing the same in-division teams each year. I wish they would just do 32 teams. I mean, you play like a certain amount each year. You play whatever your 17 games, then you alternate it that way, so you can go to some different stadiums, and the actual best 14 teams at this point now make the playoffs, and not just a conference. You don't have 7 and 9 teams making it, and
Well,
11
if you think about it, like you're one of the best teams in the league, and you're in a bad division.
Yeah.
Like let's just say the NFC with Green Bay. That's one of the weakest divisions in football.
Yep.
Same thing with the Patriots division when Tom Brady was there. They had no one to go against, and they're playing 6 games against those teams.
They're going 6-0 automatically. That's a 6-game upstart on.
I think
somebody
one game per division team.
And then
you spread it out.
And you're okay with divisions and conferences, but you just want to do one.
So like if you're
from
NFC
away.
and you only play like 3 AFC teams
Mhm.
a season, whatever it may be, add 4 more. Those other 2 division games should be the other conferences.
How do you go?
That partnership is trash.
Yeah.
The XFL sold out when they made that deal. They wanted the publicity and the guarantee. All they did was agree to be the minor league team of the NFL. And then they may not say that right now, but you can tell by the deal they made.
What it is.
They're not saying we're going to share players, because of course they won't. The players are going to decide on their own. I want the big money in the NFL. I would not have partnered with them at all. I would have made my own name, and you have no competition. That's the thing. The NFL's done when the XFL starts. You have
April,
the USFL, which is going to be this year and next year, and they probably fold. They didn't have the financial to start this year. They're winging it. They're hoping to get back.
Was it 8 or 12 teams? It's not really going to be something that people are going to tune into.
Every game is played in Birmingham. They're not doing road games. I mean, it's a minimal league. If it doesn't bring in twice the money they expected, they won't be able to do it again next year. That's truth.
No. Absolutely.
So, I hate that deal. That's a terrible deal.
Agreed.
I also don't like the Cowboys, in case you guys didn't know.
I don't like the Cowboys either. So.
No one likes the Cowboys, let's be honest. Even Cowboys fans don't like them.
I know 2 Cowboys fans that gave up this past year.
My one friend, he's a Cowboys fan. He's a diehard Cowboys fan. And he's a realist. He's one of the few Cowboys fans that I can actually talk to. And he will be like, oh, yeah, there's no way. With Mike McCarthy there, they're not doing nothing. With Dak Prescott there, they're not doing nothing.
Apparently, Giants fans hate the Cowboys, too. I didn't know that. But
apparently.
Andrew's not a
fan. Did you guys see something? I don't know where. I read it on Twitter. It said CeeDee Lamb wouldn't be opposed to playing with Kyler Murray. But he'd have no problem staying in Dallas.
I bet he
Did you read about that?
No.
He would have no issue going to Arizona.
How would that work? Dak's not going to give up his spot.
No, he'd go to Arizona.
Kyler Murray ain't going to be in Arizona either.
No, he's not.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's much of an increase, honestly. I don't like Kyler, so I don't think he's much better than Dak.
They're about the same, honestly.
Yeah. Dak Prescott's a little bit better of game management, except for the playoffs.
30 mil. One makes about 4.
Right.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Dak Prescott won that deal so easily.
Well, at the time of that deal, there was nobody to replace him with.
No.
If he does that deal this offseason, I guarantee you he doesn't get a deal, and they're pushing like hell for Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And then if they can't get those 2, well, we'll give you $18 million a year. How about that? Because then there's competition. Market value, he was number one by far.
Oh yeah.
His agent dictated, look, if you don't take Dak, who's their backup? It doesn't matter. It's nobody.
Ben DiNucci.
Yeah. So it was
And
easy to
Dalton.
win that deal.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they can't win. They can't win with Dak, so they're not going to win with the backup.
they can't win in the playoffs, and I hate it for
No,
them.
they can't. They're,
Car's
They
about to
need
get
to get rid of
40
Zeke.
million this year. Market's insane. I'm not paying Derek Carr 40 million.
I'm not paying Derek Carr $25 million. He
I'm
does
not paying
great.
Derek Carr anything.
He does great for 2, maybe 3 games a year. The rest, he's very bland.
And usually one of those teams are against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Usually one of them is against the Chiefs.
I'd probably pay him like 32 maybe, but I'm not giving him 40. He's not.
32,000.
I don't think he's bad. He's just.
He's just above Baker Mayfield.
Are we sure he's supposed to make that much? I thought I read it was
He's on pace to make some really good money.
It's always inflated because the salary cap goes up and then the market for quarterback goes up. So it's always all these quarterbacks are going to be breaking these records. Somebody's going to break Patrick Mahomes' record and Josh Allen's and the
It's going to go up and up and up until it can't.
Yeah, it's
right now he's only on a. I mean, he's in the last year of his deal, but it's only $20 million.
Yeah.
It's not
He'll
40.
get more money.
He'll get 35. I think he'll get 35.
You think he'll get more than Dak?
25.
You think he's going to get more than Dak yearly?
No,
Might.
not to me.
With the
that-
market going up, he might.
I don't think so. I don't think he's better
I'm
than
not saying
Dak.
he's better than Dak, but I'm saying with the inflation of the salary cap, that's usually what happens.
Would you rather pay Derek Carr $35 million or bring in Mitch Trubisky for a year or two for a lot cheaper? You're not winning with either one.
I'd rather have you at quarterback than Mitch Trubisky.
Torn labrum and all. Like neither one of them are going to win you a title. So why pay someone who's not going to win a Super Bowl $35 million a year?
That's tough because the GM owner prospect. Here's the thing: you talk about winning, you talk about money paid. If you have a terrible quarterback like Trubisky who offers no hope, your ticket sales go way down.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
At least if you're paying Derek Carr, who sometimes shows you great play, you're going to sell tickets. You're going to sell merchandise. You're going to tank your whole team if you take Trubisky. Nobody's going to buy that jersey unless it's the underwear. And, I just don't – money-wise, the owner's got to pay the money to keep the guy that brings the ticket sales. And I get that. But I would draft a quarterback. I would go with Kenny Pickett right now.
Yeah.
And he is not proven at all.
He'll be gone.
None of these are.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've done our due diligence tonight.
Yep.
If you guys have anything, speak now. No, not Gardner Minshew. Get that guy out of here. He's for my team. He can't read a defense, man.
He cannot read. I mean, he did good against. He's
not great.
He did good against Jacksonville.
He's only fun to watch because of his facial hair and then the hair on his head
and his Top Gun jacket. Leave him alone.
Yeah, dude is thrown right back into the Navy.
Him and he really is. I think that's about it.
But yeah, I think we did good. You guys did great. Had fun again as always. We will see you guys next Tuesday. So if you haven't liked or subscribed ASAP Sports Network on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they have a Roku TV channel. They have Tiki Live TV channel. They have a channel on the Amazon Prime Network. You can find their shows. They have really good shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, one of my favorite shows they do is Real Talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the morning, right?
Yeah, they get it.
Yep.
They get Real Talk, and they don't care who's listening. They're going to give it to you. So check those shows out. Please like and share. It's how we grow our brand.
Yep.
Other than that, you guys got anything?
Nope. I think we're good.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. Appreciate it. See ya.